You use it with these PCBs. These are sample plates. The idea is you place some DNA sample on the plate. You cover it with the second plate and you put it inside the DNA holder. Comme ça, like that. You connect this part onto your generator and you perform your biofeedback scan. Because you're not connected with hand cylinders or TENS pads, you're not restricted. You don't have to wait around for the result. And so you can perform a biofeedback scan more accurately. You do it more accurately by increasing the samples per step. If you have a samples per step of 10, that means that for 10 cycles, the generator will measure the value of that frequency before it steps to the next frequency, and it will take the average of those 10. And so the effects of electrical noise and other spurious signals is reduced markedly, and the results are smoother. The regular biofeedback scan that comes in the preset for Generator X is, it uses a samples per step value of 1. It goes for a blast for just over 6.5 minutes, which is extremely fast for the frequency range. But you can get the accuracy greater still by slowing it down and increasing the samples per step. So we put our sample here. What sort of sample can you use? You can't put nails. The reason you can't put nails is these plates have to be virtually touching. For all intents and purposes, they are touching. So it's an extremely small gap between the two. You'll be asking right now, why is there a gap when I've just said the word touching? Well, on the inside of these PCBs is a ring, a white ring. That's a screen printing on the printed circuit board. And there's 2 more here as well. The thickness of this ink is the gap that is presented for each half of these when they join together. And so it's like a tiny, tiny gap between these 2 plates. And what this does is form a capacitor. It forms a biological capacitor. The sort of samples that you want to put in here, I guess the ideal is blood. But one thing that's much more convenient is saliva. Saliva has a terrific amount of DNA and a terrific amount of pathogens that are residing inside your body within your saliva. As you know, you can catch many different diseases just through, doing things with your saliva, let's say. And so saliva certainly is a very viable solution to use for the biofeedback. As I said, it's got to be something liquid so it squishes down to nothing. And so you put either your blood or your saliva or something else. If you have got some other type of cell tissue that you can put in there, that's great, as long as it's very, very, very thin. And you sandwich it like this. You have it so that these gold contacts are exposed. These are contacts that are connected to plates on the other side of this holder. And the contacts in turn contact little pins inside the holder. You can see 2 at the bottom and 2 in the top. When we were designing for this unit, I was explaining something to one of the crew here, and I drew the sample holder and I drew the pins. Then I thought to myself, gosh, that looks like a hippopotamus. So I drew the eyes and the nose and we made it a hippo. But we decided against modelling it around a hippo because it's not quite the look we're after. But we're digressing. We put the holder inside here. There's 2 locating holes here. They ensure that it's positioned correctly inside the holder. And you put it inside here and you close it up. You might want to give it a wiggle until it's secure. And now you just put it onto your generator, or it might be connected to your generator already. output number 1. The biofeedback only works on output number 1 for generator X, for both of those generators. Don't use a boost. A boost isn't necessary and only increases the amount of noise that may enter the electrical circuitry. And then you just push the do it button and the biofeedback starts. We'll be creating a preset specifically for the generator X sample holder, and it'll be very similar to the existing generator X biofeedback because the frequency range is pretty good. We might drop the lower frequency because we've had reports of frequencies below 41 kilohertz providing very good results, and so we may do the preset starting from 20 kilohertz going up to 18 megahertz. Wow, what a range. And then you do the scan, and then at the end of the scan you just look at the results the same as you do using your contact mode of biofeedback. Now, it's the nuts and bolts of this. I want to talk about, I've got the bottom one upside down. I'm showing you how to do it wrong. So on both sides we have the golden contacts, and then you slide it in. Maybe that's why it didn't go in so easily the first time. There we go. So you just see black and black. Now, some of the tissue that you may be wanting to sample will be quite yucky stuff. Let's say it is blood. You don't really want to be handling blood too often. So if you do use these things and you put it in and do it, it's probably best to, after the biofeedback scan, to throw it away. You can wash these plates. After a while, the moisture will get absorbed by these printed circuit boards, and the results will not be quite so accurate.